همیشه دوست داشتم که متفاوت بشم و کارایی رو بتونم انجام بدم که بقیه نتونن انجام بدن و امروز اومدیم با هم که این کارا رو انجام بدیم با هم. پس دود فشانی کنید که من آمدم.
یو گایز چطورید بچه‌ها؟ ریپوری هستم. خوش اومدید به چنل یوتیوب من. امروز بریم چند تا نو از کارایی که بقیه نمیتونن انجام بدن و انجام بدیم. یعنی مثلا نه که نتونن، افراد کمتر میتونن این کارو انجام بدن. خب قبل اینکه بریم ویدیو رو ببینیم حتما ویدیو رو لایک کنین، چنل ما رو سابسکرایب کنین، زنگوله بغل هم بزنید، اینستاگراممون بالا میاد حتما فالو کنید و کامنت انگلیسی بذارید که ساباتون نپره. بریم برای دیدن ویدیو. خب بچه‌ها بریم ببینیم میزده 5 تا به از تاپ پاش بهتریناش که نمیتونن انجام بدن.
It's just so interesting and equally disgusting with all the organs in it. However, despite the
وایسی در همون اول اصلا من اینا رو اسکیبم نمیزنم، من باید انجام بدم. من بچه بودم چون ژیمناستیک نمیرفتم قشنگ راحت اینجوری انجام بدم، ولی الان امیدوارم که اتفاق بدی نیفته.
اوکی.
یا خدا. خب دیگه پیر شدیم انگار، دیگه راه داشت برم پایین ولی گفتم یو میزنم برق و مرق همه رو میکنم دیگه. آره دوستان با تمرین تلاش میشه این کار رو انجام.
gross stuff inside of us, it can do some interesting things. It can curve, concave, stretch, and bend. Although most people can easily touch their toes, do a flip, or do the splits, there are some things most people can't even imagine doing. Few people around the world can do these weird, unthinkable things. That's why today on Top 5 Best, we're going over the top. In order to get a point across to another person, most people use facial expressions. Some people use their fists, but most people use facial expressions. In fact, please use your facial expressions. These facial expressions range from
اونجا که من اگه کلیپ مینی چت رو دیده باشید میدونید که من خدای زبان انگلیسی هم و دارم همه رو الان متوجه میشم. میگه که مردم نمیتونن قیافه‌هاشون اینجوری من میتونم.
Most people can't raise one eyebrow by itself. Now you may be thinking to yourself, yes I can, but as some of you may be trying now, you can't. People call the raising of the one eyebrow the eyebrow cock. The raising of one eyebrow is the universal symbol of skepticism. It's like some saying, oh really? Although you're watching this video right now, you're still trying to raise your one eyebrow, aren't you? There is a way to learn how to raise one brow.
بابا این کلی بازی‌ها چیه ناموسن. بابا این
Keep practicing this in the mirror so you can detect the correct muzzle movement to obtain one eyebrow up. Number 14, gleeking. Although this next ability may sound disgusting, there's only a few people who can actually gleek. Gleeking is also known as bleeding, or gleeking is like spitting, but it is not quite exactly like spitting. This term gleeking means protecting saliva from the submandibular gland upon compression of the tongue. Basically, the saliva simply shoots out from underneath the tongue with the help of the salivary glands. Just think of it as being able to control how much your mouth produces and releases saliva. The majority of the time,
نمیشه.
is involuntary, but there is a way to learn how to gleek with just a little research. Man, you become like a saliva version of the Dilophosaur from Jurassic Park.
نمیشه اصلا.
Number 13, lick your elbow. Many people can easily bend their arm or elbow. Most people can also stick their tongue out, but most people can't do them together. That's why the next up on our list of weird, funky things most people can't do is lick their elbow. Although this may sound easy, that is not the case. It's just about impossible for most people to lick their elbows. Try it now. Make sure you're alone, though.
امتحان میکنه. آی گردم گرفت و یدق شدم. ادامه.
You may look like a complete idiot. That's because this is a rare ability that only a few people spread throughout the world can actually do. It's obviously not so impossible for some people. Supposedly, Guinness World Records gets about 5 claims a day from people who think that...
یکی از رازاش به نظر من زبون درازم هستش که ببخشید زبون دراز هم هستش کلن هر چیزی درازش خوبه. بدبخت شدم این خانواده هم میبینن که
Number 12.
مثلا ببینید منظور از هر چیز دراز شما مثلا قد بلند باشه دراز خوبه زبون پا.
With your nose. For this next weird ability, we head back up into the face area, smack dab in the middle, right to the nose. Nose twitching became noticeable was when Bewitched star Samantha Stevens
میگه که دماغتون رو بلرزونه.
Her nose twitch became a sort of trademark for Bewitched. Nose twitching can also be involuntary and can be symptoms of a serious medical condition. Some people have trouble flaring their nostrils for the same reason. However, as with several items on this list, it's something that can be learned. Worth doing too, as it's a pretty endearing.
آره در تکون بخوره. نه این کار من انجام. شما هم بچه امتحان کنید هر کاری که میتونستید یا نمیتونستید حالا نسبت کارایی که انجام میدید ببین کدوم میتونید کدوم نمیتونید کامنتر رو بنویسید ببینم.
Wiggling your ears. When most people think of wiggling a body part, they think toes or fingers and even your butt.
این کار خیلی سخته واقعا. یه گوشه تو آدم تکون بده.
But only a few other people in the world can wiggle their ears. Although you can train yourself to wiggle.
نمیتونم. نه نمیتونم.
Your ears by simply isolating your ear wiggling muscle. You may be able to wiggle your ears, but it won't be that impressive if you have to raise your eyebrows or look awfully surprised every time. You may not be able to move your ears without moving your scalp, but you should be able to learn to move without moving your eyebrows. Practice wiggling your ears without moving any other parts of your face, it seems. Number 10. Sneeze with your eyes open. When you sneeze, you immediately clench your eyes shut and cover your nose and mouth. Well, what if that's not the case for everybody? Some people when sneezing can keep their eyes wide open. Now most of you are thinking, if you did force open your eyes, would your eyeballs pop out when you sneeze? Well, the answer is no. Your eyes are actually quite secure and your eye sockets aren't connected to your nose at all. So, although a sneeze can erupt from your nose at an explosive 200 miles per hour, it can transfer this pressure into your eye sockets to dethrone your eyeballs. So yes, there are a few people who can do this. So if you are one of those people, let's hope your eyes stay in their socket. Number 9.
خب من چجوری عطسه کنم دقیقا؟ چیزی هم دم دستمون نیست اینجوری اینجوری که عطسش نمیره قطعا. نه.
Putting your fist in your mouth. When people think of things going in their mouth, they think food, but definitely not your fist. The majority of the population can only get half or barely a quarter of their fist into their mouth.
What the fuck?
Seriously, they've done studies on this stuff. Successfully fitting your entire fist in your mouth usually requires both a large mouth and small hands. Although the steps for putting your fist in your mouth are easy enough. Number 1.
Wait. فاصله بگیر. تا تقریبا 4 تا اینا رفت ولی نمیشه دیگه واقعا.
A fist. 2. Insert into mouth. Most people can't do it. Majority of the people who can do this are women, and the other few men who are able to do it either have small hands or big mouths, or maybe even both.
Number 8. ببین. نه اون دراز به.
Number 6 while moving your foot clockwise. Okay, even I have to admit this one is definitely a weird entry. The first thing most people were taught when learning multitasking is pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. Making the multitasking of patting your head and rubbing your stomach even harder was to do each part in opposite directions. Nowadays, when people do fun little multitasking actions, they are completely more complex.
خب میدونم داری چی میگی. میگه که میگه که مثلا اگه برعکس نفهمیده باشم پا در جهت عقربای ساعت بچرخه، دست بر خلاف چی دارم میگم، پا موافق عقربای ساعت بچرخه، دست مخالف عقربای ساعت بچرخه.
What the fuck was that?
نمیدونم الان کنم، امیدوارم معلوم باشه. اینجوری آره یعنی داره مخالف الان میره. من میتونم خب
Today is riding in 6 and moving your leg clockwise at the same time. It sounds simple, but will completely trick your mind while trying to do this. It might take a while, but you are able to learn how to do this after some practice. Number 7. Touch your nose with your tongue. Most people can't touch the tip of their nose with their tongue. In medicine, the ability to touch the tip of your nose with your tongue is known as a Gorlin sign. Approximately 10% of the population can actually perform this act. The ability to do this is actually a genetic trait, although there has been a few cases of
یاد بچه فامیل میافتم وقتی یه چی در میره.
people actually learning to touch their nose with their tongue. The only reason the small 10% of people can actually do this is due to the extreme lengths of their tongues. Their long tongues give them the ability to reach their nose. Number 6.
خب نمیتونم.
Touching your chin with your tongue. Not the tongue thing. When someone licks their tongue out, they usually do it to tease someone, or maybe it's a game. But some special people can actually touch their chin with their tongue. Just like the previous weird body ability, this ability to touch your chin with your tongue also requires a lengthy tongue. This act became infamous from Gene Simmons from Kiss. At his concerts, the celebrity would stick out his tongue and go completely wild with it, making it a huge trend back in the day. If you have a lengthy tongue, maybe you could touch your chin or your nose with your tongue. Who knows?
یه چونه بود داره. تا حدودی انجام شد.
Okay, I'll go away. Number 5. Tongue tricks. My god, there's a lot of tongue stuff in this. While we're still on the subject of tongues, there are a few tricks that most people can't do. Can you split or roll your tongue, perform a reverse T, flip your tongue 180 degrees, or make shapes like a spaceship or a clover leaf? Between 65 and 81% of people on Earth have this strange and seemingly arbitrary talent. Tongue tricks are debated on being genetic, but arguably...
وایس امتحانش کنی.
The others don't think so. Although a really pointless skill to have, it does make for some great party tricks. Number 4. Double jointed. Double jointedness, also known as hypermobility, is when the joints stretch out further than normal. Some hypermobile people can bend their thumb backwards to their wrist, bend their knee joints backwards, put their legs behind their head, and perform other contortionist tricks. Double jointedness is actually more common than you may think. Around 10 to 25% of the population is double jointed. Although many may be double jointed, some people who are double jointed can't do all the bending and twisting of certain body parts that others may be able to do. It can be even something so little as being able to move some fingers farther than regular people. Number 3. Eating a spoonful of cinnamon. Originally known as the cinnamon challenge, this next trick sounds simple but can get pretty spicy. It's simply eating a spoonful of cinnamon. Ground cinnamon may be a tasty baking addition, but it's impossible to eat on its own for most people. We don't suggest trying this at home. When eating cinnamon, the cinnamon can coat and dry the mouth and throat, resulting in coughing, gagging, vomiting, and inhaling cinnamon itself can lead to throat irritation, breathing difficulties, and risk of pneumonia or a collapsed lung.
Holy
Although this is dangerous, many people are successful in eating a full spoon of cinnamon. It's weird to see such a strange and dangerous thing lead to what used to be such a massive and popular trend on the internet. Number 2.
باید انجامش بدم. Wait.
A few minutes later.
خب بچه این دارچین این داشت میگفتش که نمیتونن افرادی مثلا یه قاشق چایی چی تو من اصلا حالم خوب نی بچه یه قاشق عادی دارچین بخورن و قورت بدن. بکنم همچین مضمونی بود. آره هیچی نشده ریختمش. سوراخش کو؟ سوراخش کوچیکه این که. یاد چیز افتادم، تراینات تو لب که رفته بودیم اونم دارچین بود، یادم اون افتادم. حتما این ندید برید دیوش ببینید. نمیره تو. خب اینو میارم بیرون. بیا دیگه. خب بچه همونطور که میبینید الان این دارچینه و من واو همه جام دارچین شد. این دارچین همونطور که میبینید و من آب هم میذارم بغلم که چیزی شد، چون احتمال خفگی داره. حتی مردم حلالم کن. بسه اوه جدا. بسم الله الرحمن. این چه سمی بود دیگه. نه نه این چه سمی بود. آب خب بچه ها اصلا توصیه نمیشه. من قبلش میگفتم بابا چیه میخوری دیگه اینجوری سوسول بازی ها چیه بگی و خوردم دیدم اصلا نمیشه اصلا. یعنی
Lastly on our list of weird things the human body can do is the ability to place your feet behind your head. In order to put your foot behind your head, it requires extreme flexibility. Simply placing both legs behind one's head may come and sound easy to some gymnasts or to Sheen Estevez from Jimmy Neutron, but to an average Joe, this task would be completely impossible. Even if you were to practice and stretch every single day, this does not guarantee that you will be able to do this, because it really all depends on...
اینم کاریه که نمیتونن انجام بدن اکثرا، اینکه اینجوری پاشنو بیارم بالا و خوش دارم میتونم. wait نمیتونم. حرفم پس میگم.
the body type. Well, that's our video for today. Can you...
خیلی حالات خیلی خوب بود. مرسی اینکه بچه ویدیو رو تماشا کردید. حتما این دوست داشتید لایک یادتون نره لایک و ساب رو بهتر کنید. سابسکرایب کنید. تو رو خدا سابسکرایب کنید. حتما تو کامنت هم بذارید. کامنت انگلیسی بذارید صحبتون نپره. دیگه حرفی ندارم تا ویدیویی بعدی. فعلا خدا نگهدار.